Hi there, my name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA, and welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text and we tie them to an item from the Dollar Tree. This is for the 11th Sunday after Pentecost, and we're looking at the first, actually we could look at all of the lessons, because I really see this overarching theme that we are drawn together, that community is important, that our neighbors are important. The gospel lesson, Jesus lifts up that the Sabbath, really, again, he doesn't say it in so many words, but through action, that the Sabbath was created for humans and not humans for the Sabbath, where there's this law about when Jesus heals the woman on the Sabbath, and there's a whole big ruckus, and he's like, you hypocrites, you do this with your animals, but you're not going to do this with a fellow human being. And it lifts up to me that that we are drawn together, that we are important to one another. And in the first reading out of Isaiah, where there again, this draw where if you reach out to the afflicted, if you help the poor, if you feed the hungry, this idea about keeping God's word is helping the community around you, and God draws us together through our word and especially through our actions. And then Hebrews, the entire text, the entire thing works with the cloud of witnesses and our faith and the Jesus that pulls us together, so that we are that idea of life together, being drawn together. So what I'm doing for this children's sermon is a magic trick. And the magic trick, it is based on, and I'll actually take a picture and or do a link to the instructions, but it's easy. I've done this before, and so if you've been following the children's blog, if you've been following the Dollar Store Children's Sermons for a while, you might have seen it, but it is a great one, and it's a classic. Some of your kids might know it. It's one of those ones, it's one of the first tricks that people learn. On the back of a cereal box, they might teach it. So the idea is that you have a piece of paper. It's originally taught with $1. You can use that, but I don't know, if maybe I'm making too much a big deal out of it, but it feels funny using it as using $1. But it's a representation or whatever. But anyway, so what I do is I use a piece of paper, and then I write on here. I write on the piece of paper, Jesus. And you don't have to, but I write Jesus because of the idea that Jesus pulls us together. So you've got this piece of paper, and you fold the piece of paper into an S like this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use the paper clip, and you're going to put a paper clip here, and that's the first part of the S, and then you are going to put a paper clip right here, and I will show you this in a second. I'm trying to do it not face. All right, there we are. Paper clip there. So you've got two paper clips, one on this lip and one on this lip over here. So you've got that. And so that I'm over here, I'm doing fine by myself, and then you're doing fine here, or so we think. And then the Jesus, when we pull this, the two paper clips are brought together, and I'm going to pull it back here because sometimes they shoot out, which is kind of fun. But you've got that here, and you pull it, and they shoot out like that, and Jesus pulls us together and sends us out into the world. And the coolest part about that is sends us out into the world, and we are connected. And that's the magic trick, that when you pull those together, it pulls the paper clips together and it connects them. That you and I are connected through Jesus Christ. Now, I have had times, and I'll just let you know, I've had times where I've pulled this, and if I've pulled it on a side, this paper is pretty good, but I've pulled it to where the paper has ripped. If that happens, it still ends up that when you pull it, these still get linked and the paper can get ripped. And what I do is then I just tie that into the cross, that through the cross and the resurrection and the empty tomb. So anyway, I had those upside down. There we are. So that's what I'm using. And the idea that we are better together and Jesus pulls us together, and that the laws around the Sabbath, and these are things you might not work into a children's sermon, but the idea that God pulls us together and we are better together. So, and life together is our calling as Christians. So I hope that can be a springboard. A springboard for your own thinking, and as always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Now, on a side note, I was going to start off the video this way, but as a side note, one of the joys that I get about doing the Dollar Store Children's Sermon is running into people that are either fans of the blog or things like that. And just this week I had an opportunity to meet someone from Duluth, and it was a wonderful experience to have those kind of connections, to know that that we are connected to the larger church, that we are connected to one another, and it is a beautiful and it's a wonderful thing. So anyway, I appreciate all of you, and thanks for watching, thanks for donating, thanks for being part of this ministry. I really do appreciate it. So, and I appreciate you. So thanks for stopping by.